I have a knife at your neck. Don't make a sound. Get up and come with me.
On a morning in Salt Lake City, Utah, on June 5th, 2002, something unexpected happened. While she was peacefully sleeping in her bed, her room was suddenly disturbed by the presence of an intruder who entered through the window quietly. As she woke up startled, she felt a sharp object pressed against her neck, sending shivers down her spine. The unknown man threatened her life in a way, forced her to cooperate under dire consequences. Little did anyone know that this terrifying incident would lead to her disappearance for a horrifying span of 9 months. During those months, she found herself trapped in the heart of a forest, confined against her will in a prison. The suffering she endured was unimaginable. She experienced repeated acts of assault and violence. This is the story of Elizabeth Smart, who miraculously survived 9 months under captivity. Before we delve into details about this case, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, now is the opportunity. Now let's explore more about Elizabeth and her family background. Elizabeth Ann Smart was born on November 3, 1987 in Salt Lake City, Utah, within the United States. She had connections to a city filled with tales and hidden knowledge. She thrived in the warm love and loyalty of her family. The Smart household provided a haven of encouragement and nurturing, serving as the starting point for Elizabeth's life journey. Elizabeth's radiance illuminated the core of this family. A teenager of exceptional brilliance, her path was paved with the promise of a remarkable destiny. Born to Edward Ed and Lois Smart, she found herself nestled among 4 brothers and a sister, claiming the second oldest spot in the birth order. The bonds within this household were strong, woven tight by their shared faith in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. As they stood united, their lives formed a tapestry of closeness and togetherness. Yet, amidst the laughter and shared moments, there was one passion that held a special place in Elizabeth's heart: music. Its notes and rhythms were the threads that stitched her world together, an art form that resonated with her essence. The melody of Elizabeth's life began on that November day, and as the years unfurled, she would encounter trials and triumphs beyond imagination. The story of her journey, painted with the colors of family, faith, and music, would captivate those who crossed her path. Little did she know that her idyllic and content life was about to be shattered by a nightmare. It happened one evening when Elizabeth and her younger sister were having a conversation, with their mother in the living room before heading to bed in their shared bedroom. As the early hours of the morning approached Elizabeth's 9-year-old sister, Mary Catherine suddenly woke up to a sight: a figure sneaking through the window. Fear gripped her, causing her to pretend to be asleep as she watched the intruder wake up her sleeping sister and hold a knife against her neck, whispering threats like, "Stay quiet and you'll be safe," in a hissing voice. In an instant, both the intruder and Elizabeth disappeared, leaving the 9-year girl to seek help from her parents, who were sleeping in the bedroom. The abductor took Elizabeth to a camp within the woods where his wife awaited. His wife then performed a foot washing on Elizabeth as part of some interpretation of biblical tradition. In this ceremony, he forcibly married Elizabeth before subjecting her to acts of violation. Bound by chains and tormented by the unyielding grip of a tree, Elizabeth endured an existence filled with pain. The small portions of food she received barely provided nourishment, serving as a reminder of the harsh realities she faced every day. The torment inflicted upon her transcended physical boundaries, seeping into every corner of her being, a triad of brutality, encompassing the physical, the sexual, and the psychological parts of her life. Elizabeth's tormentors would occasionally take her into town, disguising her identity with a white veil and concealing her in long white robes. After the heartbreaking abduction, the Smarts bravely faced the world with hearts during a press conference, pleading desperately for their daughter's safe return. The day, 2000, determined an extensive search around the Smart residence. Their efforts were tireless, as they enlisted dogs and aircraft to assist in their quest for Elizabeth. Despite their hopes, the search yielded no answers, leaving behind an eerie silence. As time passed and days turned into months, diligent police work revealed a series of suspects, a tapestry of shadows that obscured the truth. Eventually, suspicion settled upon Brett Michael Edmonds, a soul whose enigmatic presence held intrigue at 26 years old. As the investigation continued, the mystery surrounding Edmonds became more complex, until an unexpected revelation emerged. He was discovered in a hospital in West Virginia, struggling with the consequences of a drug overdose. Yet, the narrative took an unforeseen twist as the focus shifted to a figure from the Smarts' past, Richard Ricci, a handyman who had once tread the corridors of their lives. The web of suspicion tightened as he faced charges of felony burglary in the vicinity of the Smart residence. Under the weight of local authorities' pressure, Ricci remained resolute, steadfastly denying any involvement until a tragic end. A brain hemorrhage claimed his life while he languished in jail. With Ricci's death, a sense of finality settled in. The leads that were once pursued with enthusiasm slipped through the investigators' grasp, leaving behind a void where answers should have been. The echoes of their efforts, and the unwavering hope of the Smarts, lingered for months, serving as a reminder that in the realm of mysteries, some secrets may never come to light. Supported by their relatives and extended family, the Smarts refused to let the stagnation of progress silence them. They established a website, a beacon, to assist in their tireless investigation. The family generously shared glimpses into Elizabeth's past, offering cherished home videos that captured her childhood and blossoming teenage years. However, October 2002 marked a turning point when Mary Catherine had a realization. Like lightning striking from out of nowhere, she made a connection. The kidnapper's voice sounded hauntingly familiar. The weight of this truth hit her hard. With clarity, she declared, "I believe I know who it is, Emmanuel." This person named Emmanuel briefly entered their lives, offering to work for a day, in exchange for payment in the Smart family's household. The impact of his actions spread through Salt Lake's community, as he shared news about the family's interest in hiring people for jobs. However, Mary Catherine faced skepticism when she shared her realization with the authorities. Connecting an encounter from over a year ago to the voice of the kidnapper seemed unlikely. Despite facing disbelief, the Smarts refused to give up. Driven by unwavering determination, they called upon an artist to create a representation of Emmanuel based on their memories. A familiar face emerged from the shadows. Emmanuel's family recognized the sketch and realized it belonged to someone with the name Brian David Mitchell. In this blend of perseverance and revelation, the Smarts navigated through their memories like a maze to uncover a name that shattered their ignorance. With Brian David Mitchell's identity now revealed, their story raced towards a confrontation with eluded truth. On March 12, 2003, something significant happened. It was 9 months after the disturbing kidnapping incident that had left everyone unsettled. In Sandy, Utah, a watchful citizen came across some activity. They saw 3 people together, one man with 2 companions. The citizen immediately recognized the face from the TV, wasted no time in informing the authorities. This quick action set off a series of events that followed. When the officers approached this enigmatic trio for interrogation, the pieces began to fall into place. Among them stood Mitchell, accompanied by Barzee. However, the most astonishing revelation awaited as Elizabeth emerged from her disguise, a gray wig and a veil. The tangled web that had shrouded her for those agonizing 9 months was unraveled at last. With the arrest of Mitchell and Barzee, the journey into the depths of the human psyche took its own twists. Initially deemed delusional and unfit for trial, Mitchell's psychological assessment gave rise to legal complexities that would redefine the course of justice. The court's judgment initially leaned towards this assessment, but when the trial commenced, Mitchell's courtroom theatrics painted a different picture. His fervent outbursts of religious fervor echoed in his shouts of condemnation. Verses of scripture and hymns veiled a troubling truth, the veil of psychosis. The pendulum swung once again as Mitchell's fate collided with the realm of medical care. Placed under the watchful gaze of Utah State Hospital, his pathological paranoia cast a formidable shadow. Barzee's case soon followed suit, granted the same treatment to prepare her for her day in court. But as the debate over Mitchell's mental state raged, it transcended into the realm of federal court, a pivotal juncture on October 10, 2008. The battleground of opinions was fierce and unyielding. The question of genuine delusion versus calculated manipulation hung in the balance. argued passionately by expert witnesses from both perspectives. Amidst this tempest of dispute, a verdict finally emerged. Mitchell was declared competent, a ruling that cast its own shadows of uncertainty over the unfolding trial. The saga had evolved into a complex exploration of the human mind's intricate corridors, leaving a trail of debate and questions in its wake. Mitchell's defense team adamantly insisted that Smart should not take the stand in court, but the passage of 8 years since that fateful day when Elizabeth was whisked away before her sister's eyes led to a reckoning. This legal drama unfolded for then 4 weeks, a test of endurance. Throughout the courtroom proceedings, one central figure emerged, Elizabeth Smart herself. With courage, she took the witness stand in the presence of her abductor, demonstrating her strength. Over a span of 3 days, she vividly described her horrifying experiences during 9 months of captivity, a period filled with repeated assault, often occurring times in a day. Her brave testimony revealed the torment she endured through exposure to material and coerced consumption of alcohol as part of an attempt to break her spirit. Elizabeth's unwavering testimony played a role in shaping the outcome of justice. Her words, filled with both anguish and determination, became the foundation of Mitchell's conviction. As a result of this trial, a period of closure emerged, a verdict that would confine Mitchell to prison for 2 life sentences. The resounding sound of the judge's gavel marked the end of a journey from darkness to the triumph of justice, where the survivor's voice prevailed over the oppressor's attempt at silence. The relief that came with Elizabeth's rescue was undeniable, yet there lingered an unresolved aspect that cast a shadow. In the year of her abduction, 2002, an overwhelming tide of over 800,000 reports concerning missing individuals below the age of 18 reached the police's shores. Surprisingly, CNN's coverage was conspicuously absent for most of these cases. Strangely enough, as of 2014, they dedicated a staggering 498 reports to the story of Elizabeth Smart's kidnapping. The big question here is, why did the Smart case get attention from the national media while many other cases of missing children went unnoticed? The stark difference between how Elizabeth's case was covered and the lack of coverage for others raises eyebrows and makes us wonder about the factors that determine media attention and government priorities. One possible reason, among a host of others, is that the Smart case easily fit into the mold of a traditional narrative structure. The figures of heroism were already in place. Her affluent parents, capable of maintaining a prominent public presence, and eventually Elizabeth herself, the very embodiment of a victim tailored for the spotlight. Young, female, fair-haired, attractive, wealthy, and of a white background. The delicate interplay between narrative familiarity and media coverage is a dynamic that influences which stories shine and which ones fade into the background. The story of Elizabeth Smart is a source of hope and inspiration for those who have experienced challenging circumstances.
I wanted to tell you, as someone who has been through hell, that there still is hope.